What's going on? Today I want to talk to you about the AUMF, the War on Terror, which was authorized by the Authorization of Military Force, which was pretty much an open-ended document declaring war on those that attacked us on September 11th, 2001. To my understanding, we got Osama bin Laden. So, yeah, what are we doing still in Afghanistan, and why we still have the authorization of military force? And also, we have associated forces. Who the hell is the associated forces? Who defines associated forces? I mean, that's just open-ended. Like, nobody's decided that. So if anybody declares, oh, this guy's associated with Al-Qaeda, well, how do we know they're associated with him? Oh, I have intelligence. Well, okay, did they commit any crime? No, they didn't commit a crime. Well, I thought you had to commit a crime before we can punish you or anything. I thought you had to be duly convicted by a jury of your peers. Well, I mean, who's to say who is and who isn't an associated force? Who's the judge of that? I mean, that's the main question I want to know. Who's the judge? And then who defines what an associated force is? Secondly, this authorization of use of military force, the government's also argued that they can use drones and that they can indefinitely detain people using the authorization of military force. We also had the NDAA, specifically Section 221, in the NDAA, which is the yearly National Defense Authorization Act, which is pretty much like the PACE for the military or whatever. And it says what the Pentagon can spend money for, pretty much. I think there's an appropriations bill that actually issues the funding for it. But I do believe the National Defense Authorization Act just gives the specific what they can and can't do, and what they can and can't spend money on. And in there, and I want to say the 2011 or the 2011 or 2012 version, they specifically had a Section 1021, which was signed on December 31st, and that Section 1021 said that anybody can be, even American citizens, can be held indefinitely. You don't have no Fourth or Fifth Amendment right. As Lindsey Graham so coined, if I want a lawyer, you tell them shut up. Your Fourth Amendment rights don't apply anymore in this country. And then back to that. Section 1021 says that they can detain you by declaring you a terrorist. Well, even an American citizen? Well, who determines who a terrorist is that's an American citizen? I thought a citizen had to be convicted of a crime before they could be deprived of life, liberty, or property. Otherwise, it's kidnapping. So, I mean, who judges this citizen that has been declared a terrorist, and who declares him a terrorist? Or is it Mr. President's? Because I want to show respect, I'm not gonna I'm gonna stop calling him out of his name. Mr. President has a kill list. They call it Terror Tuesdays, and every Tuesday they pretty much decide who and who isn't going to be on the kill list, and who may not be killed. And who is this? That would be like John Brennan, the head of the CIA, or also the National Security Director, and the President himself are usually in these Terror Tuesday meetings. Now, also we have the War Powers Act, which I am currently waiting on somebody to challenge. Any constitutional lawyer who knows how we can challenge this War Powers Act, or specifically it could be repealed in Congress, but which is, I would prefer we do it that way. We repeal it in Congress, and that way it's specifically defined, and we get back to the Constitution Specifically Article 1, Section 8, that says that only Congress shall have the power to declare war. And basically, the authorization of use of military force. Technically, we've already won that war like 2 or 3 times. George Bush coined the phrase "mission accomplished," or was that Iraq? I'm not positive. I have to look on that one. But the War Powers Act, which gives the president 90 days to do anything he wants to, pretty much start a war, and nothing will happen to him. But that's necessarily unconstitutional. I mean, only Congress has the power to declare war, so we have to declare war before the president does anything like that. And that's what the Constitution says, but we all know the Constitution doesn't really mean anything in this country anymore, which is terrible. It's sad. There are still people out here that do believe in the Constitution. We need to get back to reading the Constitution. I even need to read the Constitution more. But nevertheless, under the what wars have we started using the War Powers Act and other gray laws that we've used to get around committing war crimes and waging war unconstitutionally? Well, we've had Korea, Vietnam, Grenada, Panama, Libya, Fallujah. Actually Iraq. Sorry, Iraq, Bosnia, Afghanistan, and Iraq again. Second time. We've also used drones, dropped drones in Yemen, Pakistan, Libya, Bahrain. All these countries we have not declared war with, and I don't even know what the hell we're doing over there. Like, why are we dropping bombs in Yemen, Pakistan, and Bahrain? Like, what's up with that? So we need to repeal all the authorization for the military, especially with they're ramping up talking about gun control measures and stuff, which is kind of funny because we're around the world, killing everybody with drones and stuff, and they want to repeal, they want to take away people's guns here at home. I don't get that. Something's not squaring that circle. But yeah, we clearly need to shut down this war on terror, because this war on terror is not only abroad, but it's here at home, and it's just stoking an atmosphere of fear, and we need to alleviate that fear in our society. It's like a cancer that's eating at like the spiritual soul of this society. So we need to repeal this authorization of military force and stuff, and the War Powers Act and the NDAA. The War Powers Act either needs to be repealed or challenged constitutionally, or it could be nullified. Nullification. Let's go to nullification. What is nullification? Well, nullification basically says the principle is, say we can say politicians write a law, and say the citizens don't agree with that law. Well, they can vote to overturn that law, and that would be the citizens nullifying the law that the legislator wrote. So that's saying we as politicians don't like you smoking weed, so we're gonna write a law saying that you can't smoke weed. But then you as citizens saying, nah, fuck that, we want to smoke weed, we gonna smoke weed whatever the hell you want to. And so they go in and smoke anyways. Well, in essence, the people just nullified your law that you as a politician just wrote, because they don't agree. And that goes back to part of our founding documents that said that Congress gets their derived power from the consent of the governed. So, and the governed didn't consent to you saying that, oh, we can't smoke weed. So basically, your law just got nullified. Same principle. Now we can apply this to jury trials too. Say somebody goes to court and they get charged with a small possession crime of like marijuana. They weren't selling, but they just had it and they were smoking it and they're possessing it. So what they did was they got arrested by the cop. It was non-violent. So he goes to trial and the jury says not guilty. Well, one, because we think whatever the case may be, and they say, oh, he's not guilty of any violent offense, so we don't want to throw him in jail. Maybe because they feel sorry for the guy, maybe because they think he's an outstanding character, maybe because their jails are overcrowded, maybe because who cares why they say not guilty, or oh, we don't want to put him in jail. Who really cares? But the jury can also turn around and say, we don't agree with this law, so we're going to nullify this law. And that principle is jury nullification. So the consent of the governed can still judge a law via the courts or the jury system. So you as a juror can say, yeah, not only do we think this guy's innocent and he's okay, we'll let him go. But we can also say, yeah, this law sucks and we don't like it and we don't want it. And then you can nullify a law that way too. It's another principle of nullification. And then there's also, to expand it another level, to the feds, the federal government. Congress writes a law signed in by the president. And the states don't like that. The states can go ahead and turn around and nullify the federal government's law, and in situations as this happened would be like Colorado and the state of Washington legalizing marijuana. That's like a nullification against the war on drug prohibition, prohibition on drugs and stuff, and the war on drugs, and it's a step in nullifying the war on drugs. And there's also been states that have introduced legislation and passed legislation that's attempting to nullify the NDAA. And so this is the principle of nullification expanded from the most basic to like up to like the nation to state level, and then and all this nullification is all based off of the principle of jury of your peers, not having a dissipation or decentralization of power from like the monarch, the king, the dictator, the tyrant to the people. So it's still following the principle of bringing it, separating power from the top back to the people. And so yeah, we need to start using nullification a whole lot more, especially when it comes to marijuana, the drug war, even this war on terror. If we can't get it done in Congress, we can do it through nullification. Anyways, we need to get rid of the AUMF, NDAA, and the War Powers Act. And hopefully that will stop most of these illegal killings and wars and bombings of countries that we are not at war with. Let's get America back to being a peace-loving nation and rebuilding itself.